afternoon. Today I want to talk to you about my Genius Hour project. So my Genius Hour question was, how do I know if an app, so like a phone app, is effective for use, for classroom use? So the reason why I wanted to ask this question is because in Teachers College we have been told a lot about using technology in the classroom, and we're always provided the apps and the websites and the technology to use. And I really wanted to focus on what students are using to see how we can incorporate that in the classroom. So through my Genius Hour project, I focused on a few games, some of which included Clash of Clans. I looked at Candy Crush. I looked at a new game I found called Brains On or something. It was a really cool game. And then there was Life Simulator, which was also really cool. You could try out to make money through tapping your screen, and you have to distribute that money and try and live your life making $1 every minute or so. So it's really cool and really gets kids interactive and to see how the money process works. But anyway, so over the past 8 weeks, I have developed a list of things that I think are important to have in any app that you're going to use in the classroom. So first of all, it has to be fun. Kids don't want to have an app that involves a lot of reading and is very educational. There was one app I found that I decided to not include on my list simply because it was a science app and it just involved information. There was no gaming involved, there was no inquiry. Students just read, and I think that's pretty boring. The next one was that the game has to be pleasantly frustrating. This is a term I came across in a video games course that I took last year, and it really makes a lot of sense. So the game has to push you beyond your limits, but not so far that you are really struggling and don't want to continue to play. You have to want to continue to play and continue to challenge yourself. The next one I came up with was that the game has to promote 21st century learning. So many of the games we have today are very collaborative. You play them online, you play them with your friends, you play them with people you don't know around the world. And I think that that is a great attribute to have for any app to connect students with other areas in the world and other people in the world. I also found that a game should be effective. It should somehow connect to the Ontario curriculum, and it should be able to be used within a unit. Now, yes, there are many games that you could use as a minds-on activity or something simple as a hook. But I really find the best way to integrate an app into your classroom would be to have students use it multiple times so they can really build on their knowledge. Finally, there was real-life connections, also very, very important. Why learn about something if you can't use it in real life? Same thing goes with games. If a student can learn that this game that they love can be connected to their life in some way in their learning, they're going to want to play it more and they're going to want to use it in an educational setting. I also found that an app must meet predetermined learning goals. So what I mean by this is that you have to have a learning goal in mind before you go out and search for a game. For example, I was playing Clash of Clans and I was desperately trying to find some way to use this game in my classroom because it's a fun game to play, kids play it all the time, but I couldn't find it. I had to come up with a learning goal first before I was able to figure out how to use that game in the classroom. And an app can be used to gamify the classroom. So this goes back to using an app for a whole lesson, or a whole unit, sorry. So if you can use an app or a game for an entire unit, you can also use it to gamify your classroom, and this is really going to encourage students to want to learn and be in your class. And finally, not all apps can be used for education. They really can't. Candy Crush, there is some patterning in there, but I found that it did not really enrich my understanding and did not really meet any of the Ontario curriculum guidelines. So my advice would be to try out more and more games and apps and see how they can connect to the curriculum in your classroom, the learning styles of your students, and have fun learning with them with technology.